batch handcrafted microbrewed private reserve maple syrup time.
So into his sugar bush goes the farmer, as he and his forebears have done every spring for generations. First job is to tap the trees.
Well, we're back to the sugar bush. February 7th, everybody. I don't know what's going on with the world. I don't have same as last year. I should be ice fishing right now. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I do know we're out. We're out in the sugar bush and we're gonna tap ourselves some trees. And I'm looking forward to it. I spent the last couple of days, the buckets, clean them all out with soap and water. Everything gets scrubbed down, gets sanitized with a light, very light mixture of bleach and lots of water. Rinsed a million times. So gear-wise, it couldn't be much simpler. Buckets, they're the same kind of bucket. They're slightly different. They're both food grade buckets. Bought them at a hardware store. But I mean, you could use a pail. You could use an old milk jug. Right? As long as it's had something that has stored food or could store food, you can do whatever. A lid to keep out the rain and the snow and branches and crap like that. That one's steel, this one's plastic. Again, like, it doesn't matter. 2-gallon buckets, 2-gallon lids. This one, I think I bought it at Home Hardware. Just because PV Mart, used to be TSC, yoinked the living cost out of these. We got a drill. Backup battery, because last year I ran into some trouble. And because of that, I've got my grandfather's old drill, all right? Should things give me some trouble? Drill bit. I can't remember the size of the drill bit, but I'll write it down below. And you kind of want to go in 2 inches, 2.5 inches, so I put this little piece of tape here. That's all, right? Just so I know how deep I'm going in. And then we got our spiles. That's the thing that plugs into the tree, lets the sap come out, and that's the thing you hang your bucket on. Couldn't be much simpler. So one thing you'll find if you're sugaring is absolutely everybody's an expert, and also everything kind of works. It's sort of like, you know, everybody thinks they've got the best dog, and they're right. That's a good looking tree there. 16 or 17 inches in diameter, and the rule of thumb is like 15 to 20, I think, inches you can put a tap on. 21 to 27 you can put 2 taps on. Bigger than 27 inches around, you can go crazy. You put over 1,000 buckets on a tree if you wanted to. You know, they don't police it. You know, as long as you're doing this on your property or you have permission, you knock yourself out. We want to be kind of facing southern exposure, because we want this tree to get warm, right? We want nice cold nights, minus something, and then up above 0 during the day, and preferably with the sun heating everything up, which is going to draw the sap up, and we're going to have it come through our spile. That's this little fella here. All right, got a little holy bit there that goes into the tree, and we hang our bucket on it, and out drops the sap. We're going to drill in about 2 inches. I put a little bit of tape here on my drill and a little bit up. Right? You want to be about 3 feet up, give or take, but you don't want to be within 6 inches of last year's hole. Okay. I don't want to hammer it in too much. That's another thing. The bark that you get out of the tree. You see that? Got some snow on it here, but see, it's just a nice tree color. Smells like tree, right? If that came out kind of, you know, rotteny looking, punky looking, had a bit of an odor to it, you'd have to find another spot on the tree. But she's doing lovely here. Bucket number one! One! This one is not 15 to 20 inches. And people seem to get very upset. Well, here's the thing, and I mentioned it last year, so if you've heard it before, you'll hear it again. I don't really care. These are... Our sugar bush is sort of at the edge of the woods, up on the, I don't know, something west-east, north-south part of our property. These trees, like I said, there's some that are the right size. A lot of them are tiny like this, and the concern being that if you tap them too young, you might damage them, you might do whatever. Well, this behind it is also a maple, as is this one. As is this little skinny guy. There's 5 or 6 around here that'll instantly take its place. Versus me waiting until I'm a man of 70 before I can tap it properly. So we get sap out of it, it produces, and that's that. So I'm gonna do it. You might be wondering about these. This is just some brick line. Sometimes, and it breaks. Sometimes Miss Lady or the youngest come out here to check the buckets, and you can get turned around pretty quick. So I've laid it out. I didn't get to it this summer, but I want to kind of do a bushcrafty sort of handrail around the place. Somebody was worried once, a few years back, that I'd get the deer all caught up. The deer have been fine. Same thing, that's where the hole was. I'm gonna put it down here. Still got the southwestern exposure. And it's just gonna keep doing like that. You hear those tippy taps? Those are happy feeling tippy taps. Everything's flowing nice. We'll see what happens if the weather keeps the way it is. We're getting about -7, -8 in the middle of the night. And we're going up between 3 and 6. 3 today, but they're talking about 5 or 6 over the weekend. So, I mean, that's ideal, right? And if you've got a sunny day on top of that, and here's where we started. This has taken me maybe an hour and a half because it's really spread out. We've got kind of a cedar forest patch, and then we're out to a meadow where the other part of the sugar bush is. There's about 4 or 5 I tap over there, but the, the big number of them are over here. And this guy, doing good. I'd say a drop a second. They'll slow down overnight, and then hopefully temperature rises back up again in the morning. We'll come on out here, we'll do a little check. I think tomorrow, back behind the woodlot or something, we're gonna have to, I don't know, shovel ourselves a little berm or something to stuff all of our pails in, because I'm not gonna start boiling right away. Probably this weekend, but who knows? I don't. The hand drill was something else. My DeWalt has failed me. I don't know if the batteries just aren't holding the charge or if you're asking a lot out of those drills. And I've built decks and woodsheds and gardens and bunkies, screen porches. I've done so much with those drills that, like, I may have beaten the living crap out of them, but I just, when they go on sale, maybe I'll have another peek. But we'll strap the snowshoes back on. We don't really have the deep snow to necessitate them, but because it's thawing and the trails are kind of rough with quad ruts, it just gives me a little bit more of a foothold, so appreciates that. So yeah, I'm razzed by more than one person about the amount of work it goes into to get the yields we get. I don't care. I don't care at all. We've got 18 trees of varying sizes. I think last year, I want to say we processed 300 liters of sap. I think. I'll have to go back and check that, but it's a 40-to-1 ratio. We did not walk away with buckets and buckets and buckets of maple syrup, but we still have a little bit from last year. And that's after giving it to people, friends, family, the butchers. We don't use it all the time. Pancakes, obviously, a little bit on ice cream as a treat. There's a couple of dishes I make that call for maple syrup, so use it then. But there's so much more to it than just, walking away. I think that's the notion of 2024, the notion of, oh, I don't want to sound like an old man.
Get off my lawn.
The notion of this generation that you gotta walk away with something. Oh, that's all you got. No, I didn't. I got to spend time out in the forest. I've had woodpeckers today. I've had, the ravens have been cawing up a storm. Deer tracks absolutely everywhere. A ruffed grouse comes out of nowhere, scared the crap out of me. I scared the crap out of him. This little bush chicken's flopping up into the air, and I'm like, gee, come on, man. And then on top of that, my wife and I are going to be outside on the weekends, building fires, smelling that sweetness in the air while it all starts to evaporate and turn into syrup. And we'll laugh and we'll, tell stupid jokes and be morons and, muck around and tell stories and talk about what we want to do. Have a few Caesars, keep stoking that fire. And then when all is said and done, after many weekends of boiling, we will have a variety of small jars of homemade, handmade, artisanal, small batch, handcrafted maple syrup. But all of that time in between, that's what you walk away with it. Those are the memories we're going to have. Not, I've accumulated this. No, I've accumulated that. I don't want to sound like an old man.
What the hell is it with kids nowadays?
It's the journey, not the destination. Listen to some Rush, man. Those guys sang about it all the time.
So, like, this is now natural science, eh?
Yeah, 72 bucks for 4 liters of maple syrup at the butcher's. Sure, I guess. Well, then why, why grow a garden? Why go hunting? Why go fishing? Why build anything? Why make anything? Why write music? Why paint a picture? You know what I'm saying? The last hour and a half, cleaning the buckets earlier. The time I'm gonna come back out here to check, to fill up the pails, to bring them back, to stow them in the snow, till the day we go out to boil. That experience is worth something. But like, I don't care if you've got 1 bucket and you're just screwing around, or if you've got 1,000 buckets. Yeah, you get it. You get it. Syrup at the end is only part of it. All right, rant over. This guy's doing awesome. I don't want to behind the scenes yet or anything, eh? But you do know I always got to come back and get the camera. Well, folks, I went out to the sugar bush and I took a little peeky peek. We're doing pretty good on the buckets. Some of them are somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2. I'm not good with fractions. I know the pizza pie math, I know quarters, halves, and wholes. What is it, 1/8? Would 1/8 be something between the 1/4 and the half? Well, 2/8 is 16, which I guess is divisible by 4, which would be 1/4 is 1/4. I don't know. Some of you might be going like,
Dude, you're like a freaking, beautiful mind.
thank you, I appreciate that. But remember, I believe he had a brain hemorrhage, so I don't want to be like Russell Crowe. Also, I didn't care for the Gladiator movie. I'll be honest with you. Joaquin Phoenix, not my cup of tea in that movie. Just a bad dude. Just a bad fella. Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. 9 degrees right now. It was 14 this afternoon, according to the weather app. And that's no good for maple sap. That's no good for maple sap. She doesn't want to flow. She doesn't want to flow when it's that warm. You know what it's like in the summer. You get so hot, you don't want to do anything. So, but I went out there, I checked, as I was saying earlier, until I got sidetracked. Thanks again, Russell Crowe. We're, a good chunk on some buckets. We're a little bit on others. We're almost half full on a couple. And one of them was kind of on its side. The wind was pretty brutal this afternoon. I think we may have lost some of that sweet nectar, but I'm hoping it wasn't too much. I'm going to make a prediction or a confession or something. I don't know. Last year, we had an early spring. I went out, I tapped the trees, and Mother Nature was like, oh, you think it's spring? Watch this! And we had like 2 more weeks of winter. Deep freeze, too. We had buckets of sap just frozen solid. Well, the Weather Network, those Copernicuses in their ivory tower. Well, they were saying that everything was going to be toasty warm. Everything's going to be 5 degrees, 6 degrees, 7 degrees every day. Don't I tap those trees? And apparently next week it's all -7, -8, -9. Next Sunday they're saying -16. So, hello? Who turned the air conditioning on? Or, and maybe this is something they don't want you to know. Maybe I'm kind of like a reverse groundhog. You know how that little guy comes up out of his hole? Or something? I don't know how it works. I don't understand the science behind it. But he comes up out of his hole, and maybe if he sees a shadow, that's more winter, and if he doesn't, it isn't. Something like that. Not sure. What is it, Knobs Gobbler, or Knobs Gobble? I don't know. Wherever he is. Puxaswani something. Puxa, I don't know. I'm not well versed in all of that scientific data. However, it appears now, 2 years in a row, that it's become spring in February. I'm saying I'm not going ice fishing. The sap starts flowing, and I tap the trees. And what do they say?
Enjoy the deep freeze, bruh.
So I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. If it does freeze and then thaws again. Last year we had a little bit of trouble with a couple of the taps where it wasn't flowing, so I had to go in and open up the hole again. So I might have to do something like that. We don't really have enough sap to collect. Like I said, we've got quite a bit out there, but we don't have a giant pail. Don't have that. So this little baby's not going to be fired up and purring along this weekend, probably. I just left it out on the trees. I'll check it again in the morning. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice. Maybe they said, I'm not sure. Let's have a little peek here. So this says it's 12 degrees, feels like 10. That says it's 9. Now I don't know who you're going to trust, the Weather Network or my thermometer that I got at Canadian Tire and have left outside for years. So overnight tonight's 2 degrees. Tomorrow afternoon's 9 degrees. So not great, right? Remember, we want to be down -3, -5, -7 at night, +3, +5. Like reverso, bizarro even, if you're a Superman fan. And I'm not. I'm a big Batman guy. I love the Batman. The Superman, though, I don't care for it. Don't care for it. I like Spawn, but that's a little dark. A little dark for the kids. Sunday, -4 at night, 1 degree during the day. Monday, -7, 1 degree in the day. We might get a little bit of flow. -5 on Tuesday at night, 0 during the day. And then Wednesday, -10 at night, -3 in the day. And then we're -4, -5 all through the days, and -10, -12, -9. Mind you, you know, yesterday they had a different story, so that all might change. Or I really am the catalyst to change weather. Like, is there a chance that some government entity is going to find out about these creative abilities I have? Like, I've got abilities, clearly. These are abilities. Am I going to get drafted into some sort of ultra-secret organization run by some professor with, like, an alphabet letter for his last name? And he's going to help me hone these powers of weather control? Oh, I could call myself Chemtrail. I am Chemtrail. I draw lines across the sky that are really just, you know, clouds. But anyway, that aside, that's the end of the video. I had planned, like, we're going to do a berm, you know, and we'll stack all our pails, and we're going to go out, and we'll get all the sap, and we'll bring it back. But yeah, we'll just leave it there. We'll check it tomorrow. And I got a house full of teenagers over the weekend. They probably aren't going to want me to hang out with them, even though, come on, I'm cool. I'm cooler than today's teenager. So, isn't she rusty? My goodness. I was going to paint her, but I was also going to build a small little sugar shack around her. So once I do that, we'll see if this barrel's still in good shape. If not, I'll get another one and we'll redo it. I want to get some fire bricks in there, and I'm trying to figure out a grate system, which if I'd have figured it out would have been great. Carl? Carl. Do you guys remember Carl from last year? Oh, for those of you new to the channel, and welcome to it, Carl is one ornery son of a bitch, okay? And he plagued me during last year's sap boiling. Every day he's coming over here hurling insults at me, just freaking out daily. To the point where some of the folks who were watching were like, you know,
Screw you, Carl!
I'm like, yeah, screw you, dude. His sister was cool. She's all right. But Carl, like, you want to talk about an attitude problem? Dude, that goose had one. I'd recognize that honk anywhere. Yeah, you keep flying, Carl! I was kind of hoping we could be evaporating some syrup this weekend. This is what I do while I evaporate syrup. But there's a fire going, so it looks like I'm really busy. And sometimes Miss Lady makes charcuterie, brings them out. Anywho, next video, maybe we'll be boiling sap. Maybe we'll be collecting sap. Maybe I will be abducted by a covert, secret, military, off-the-books, black ops kind of organization who want to exploit my ability to control the weather. Am I a wizard now? Am I possibly a wizard? Or am I a mutant? I don't know. But I do know, for all intents and purposes, I might possibly be able to control the weather. I hope I am strong enough to use those powers for good. Time will tell. We'll see, everyone.